Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm Connie Fuchsa with Foote Title Group. Hope you guys are having an awesome start to your day. I'd like to first say if you are tuning in, please check in with me and let me know that you're on. I love seeing who tunes in, who I can talk to. I love having your questions, your comments. It helps me a lot know what to talk about next time to try to get you some more information, because one of the things that's very important to me is to get information to you so you understand about the real estate buying and selling process. So if you're on live, please check in and say hi. And if you're tuning in on the replay, also feel free to tune in, check in, and ask me any questions or just say hi. I love it. So as I said, I'm Connie Fuchsa with Foote Title Group. And our part of the process is we take care of three things for you. We make sure that you are kept in the loop every step of the way. We make sure that the process is simple for you to understand, and we protect your home ownership when you walk away from the table with the keys. And our jobs are to make sure that the ownership of the property is clear for you when you purchase that property. Good morning, my good friend Pam. How are you this Friday, Red Friday? Make sure that the ownership chain of title is clear for you, so when you purchase that property you don't have any problems with your home ownership. Happy Red Friday to you, my friend. Good morning, Miss Jerry. How are you today? Our job is also to make sure that everything is coordinated and pulled together for you, so when you sit down at that closing table, everything, all the pieces are pulled together, all the documents, all the numbers, all of the pieces are pulled together. And we make sure all the money's taken care of like it's supposed to be. We take in all of the money from closing, from your lender, from you, from all the different areas. If the seller needs to bring some money, we take in all of that money and then pay out all the bills for everybody and make sure everything gets squared away for you. And then we protect your home ownership when you walk away from the table with those keys. So that's what we do as a title company in just a quick version. And what I wanted to talk about today is business real estate sales. So we talked a lot recently about ownership. We talked about estates. We've talked about a lot of different ways of owning property and what needs to happen. And what I really wanted to do today is talk to you a little bit about the process when a business owns a piece of real estate and what has to happen. Good morning, Miss Candy. Hope you're having an awesome Friday. So when a business owns a piece of property, again, it's sort of like an estate, which we talked about earlier this week. An entity is not a physical being, so an entity cannot physically sign a document. So what has to happen? So you have to figure out who is the person who can sign on behalf of that entity. And so our job as a title company in making sure, good morning, our job in making sure that the title, the ownership is transferred properly is to make sure that we check and know exactly who the person is that is legally able to sign on behalf of that entity. So we require some documentation, and because we want to do the research and make sure that it's done properly, part of protecting your home ownership. So let's say, for example, that the property is owned by a corporation. Well, a corporation has a board of directors and typically has a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer, and some of those people may hold more than one job. The corporation will have meetings where they establish who can do what at certain times throughout the existence of that corporation. So a corporation will have what's called they'll have a corporate meeting and establish who can actually sign documents on behalf of the corporations when that's selling real estate. And so we would require articles of incorporation to see that they are, in fact, incorporated legally like they're supposed to. We would require a certificate of good standing from the state where they're incorporated in to make sure that the entity has the ability to sell that piece of property. And we would also need to make sure who the person is that can sign on behalf of that entity. And so we would require a secretary certificate, because the secretary, once that meeting is completed, actually does a certificate and says who is the person that can sign on behalf of that legal entity. Good morning, my friend, Miss Kathy Whitethorn. Good morning, my niece Tiffany. How are you? So for a corporation, we're going to require several different things like that, because we need to make sure that it's in good standing and it is a viable corporation. And little things can affect that. For example, in Maryland, they have to constantly re-register every year and pay a $300 fee to the State Department of Assessments and Taxation. If the corporation doesn't pay that, the state says, never mind, you're not in good standing and you can't do anything. So you can't borrow money, you can't sell real estate. Basically, the corporation can't do anything legally. So that's one reason we require that certificate, is to make sure that that corporation is valid and is in good standing in the state and can act legally on behalf of that, whoever is signing can act on behalf of that corporation. So that's the information behind a corporation. Again, remember, you're talking about an entity, and an entity isn't a physical being, so it can't sign a document. So we have to have a paper trail as to who can sign on behalf of that entity. So you could have a corporation, which we talked about, or you could have an LLC, which is a limited liability company, or you could have a general partnership, or you could have a limited partnership. All of those have different documents that are required. A limited liability company has the partnership documents that actually tell who are the people involved in that organization and who can do what as far as that organization is concerned. And it explains all of, that's their articles of organization, and it explains all of the steps that the partners or the owners can do, who can do what throughout any of the process, whether it's sell real estate or transact business on behalf of the LLC or do whatever. It also discusses what their business is, where it's located, and those types of things. So we would need that, again, a letter of good standing from the state, and that would give us who the person is that can sign on behalf of that LLC, who has the legal ability to do that. A partnership is very much the same as an LLC. The states created LLC years ago. It gives the owners a little bit more protection, whereas a corporation, the individuals that can sign on behalf of the corporation are insulated from things that the corporation does. So personally, they have a lot less liability, and similar is true with an LLC, but it acts much more like a partnership. So, and with a partnership, we're going to need to see the partnership agreement to see who the partners are, and it should state who can actually sign on behalf of the partnership, and a letter of good standing as well. So we need to, one, establish that the business is a viable business, is active, does have the ability to transact business, and then we need to find out in whatever form how and when and who can sign on behalf of that organization. So they may have changed some rules as they went along. Maybe if a corporation, the president was the one that was able to sign, and now some things have changed, and now they've appointed the vice president to be able to sign as well if the president's not available. So a lot of organizations are fluid, and things change as they grow, and their transactions change. And so that's why the documentation we need to track who that person is. And then when we prepare the documents we need to prepare for you buying that property, we can actually note on all those documents who is doing what and what authority they have. So then anybody who does a title search at a later point can follow through that chain and see not only the organization was able to sign, but who that person was able to sign for the organization and what gave them the ability to do that. So these are some of the things that we require in order to be able to properly note that information, so that anyone following behind us can in fact see that the chain of title is clear, and also to, as we talk about, to protect your home ownership. So good morning, Miss Paulette. Thanks for tuning in. Julia, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for tuning in. Good morning to you too. Thank you very much. It's Red Friday. I love to wear red on Fridays. It's for our troops that are deployed. So Red Friday means remember everyone deployed. If you don't know, or you don't tune in to me often enough, you might not know that. So good morning, my good friend Chip. Hope the weather's nice there in Florida. Good morning, Steve Johnson. How are you this morning? Thank you guys all for tuning in. So hopefully that helped you with a little bit of information. Thank you very much, Paulette. Remember that entities themselves cannot physically sign a document. So then you got to figure out whether it's an estate, whether it's an organization, whether it's a trust. An organization cannot physically sign a document itself. It's just not humanly possible. So what needs to be done to make that happen? So that's some of the things we've been talking about. Hopefully this helped you with a little bit of information. As always, please feel free to ask any questions that you have, and please share the videos, because you may not need this information today. Maybe somebody you know does need it that I can't reach, and I would love for you to share that information to help me out so that we can get more information out there to the public. That's really my passion, is to get you information so you understand what's going on, to make your closing process simple, because let's face it, buying and selling real estate should be fun. You should enjoy buying that new house. You should enjoy buying that piece of property that you're going to build a new house on. You should enjoy selling your house because you're going to be buying something else that's really exciting for your family. So I am really passionate about making sure you understand what you're doing and keeping you in the loop and protecting you. So one thing I wanted to tell you, hey, good morning, Karen Renner. How are you today? Oh, that's awesome, Julia. Thank you very much. That's really sweet. I know that I really appreciate that you do that. One thing I wanted to share with you guys is we have a really exciting announcement coming out. We are starting next month. We're going to be doing some really exciting stuff instead of just doing, hey, my good friend there, Sean Butler. Hope you're having a good morning. We are not only going to be doing live broadcasts, but we're going to be doing some other events that'll give you a lot more information that I'm going to let you know about next week when we get it all nailed down. But please tune in next week for Coffee with Connie on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because I want you guys to share that we have this really new exciting event getting ready to come on. So please tune in and please share our videos. I really appreciate that. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you? Oh, you have the right to choose who does your closing. Sometimes I have so much information to tell you, I get a little caught up in remembering all the pieces. It's so important when you buy a new property that you find the real estate agent to take care of making sure you find the right property and find the most exciting house that you want or the piece of land that you want. It's also just as important, if you need to borrow money to buy that property, to find the right loan and the right loan officer to make sure that things are in order for you. The other thing that is most important and we don't think about is, are you protected after you walk away from that closing with the keys to that property or the ownership to that piece of property that you're going to build on? That's what title companies do, is we protect your home ownership. So we make sure that no one can come back to you and claim an ownership interest in that property and tell you to get the heck out, or that you have to pay for something that wasn't something that you placed on the property. So that's what title companies do. There's a lot of pieces that go into it that you don't need to know all those pieces. You just need to do your research and find the title company that has a good track record, has been in the business for a long time and has that longevity. And you as a buyer legally have the right to choose. So don't let someone else tell you where you have to go to closing. So make a choice and make a smart choice for yourself. So hope you guys have an awesome Friday, and I really appreciate your time. And not always on Friday, Julia. Usually I try to do Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I had some great information I wanted to share today. So hope you guys are having an awesome Friday. I look forward to talking to you again soon. And please share the video, and let me know if you have any questions, anything you want me to talk about in future videos. I love it. And like I just said to Julia, I usually try to do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but if information comes up, I do it all during the week, whenever you guys need. So I'm always here. Our website, www.foottetitlegroup.com, has lots of great resources on it. A home buying guide, a home selling guide, a sample documents book if you want to see some sample documents on what you might sign at closing, so you're not in that fishbowl at the table where maybe all these things are going on and you don't have time to review stuff. So we have some sample documents on there. We have a planning your move checklist. We have a buying a piece of real estate checklist. So lots of good free information for you on our website. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Good morning, Sharon. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, Miss Karen. And Beverly, thank you for tuning in and for all your support. You guys have an awesome Friday. I'm Connie Foote with Foote Title Group, where we protect your home ownership. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.